Now, as far as I'm concerned, Star Wars ended back in 1983, technically 2005, with Revenge of the Sith. Everything that Disney has put out, of course, beginning in 2015 onwards, has been nothing more than disappointing and something that was fan-dividing in the entire process, all starting, by the way, with The Last Jedi by director Rian Johnson. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So, one thing about everything related to this ongoing drama to director Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy of the upcoming Rey Star Wars movie, also known as the New Jedi Order film that takes place 15 years after the events of the Rise of Skywalker Star Wars film that released back in 2019. Now, there's been a lot of ongoing, drama with this film, not just limited to Sharmeen, but also due to Kathleen Kennedy and her lack of leadership skills over at Lucasfilm, and really being 100% deliberate in destroying and tarnishing Star Wars even further, worse than what happened with the sequel trilogy films. Now, what's interesting about all of this has a lot to do with exactly what Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy had to say about the fan backlash and the pushback and everyone taking a stance against Lucasfilm right now. And I know I said this before in my last post, but I find it to be quite convenient that they came out with superior news, I guess you could say, in comparison to the Rey film, by announcing a Mandalorian/Grogu Star Wars movie directed by Jon Favreau just a week and a half after all this drama actually started for the Rey Star Wars film. Now, moving onwards, with Disney actively engaging in full damage control across all of their divisions at the company, one major development has to do with director Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy and her stand against the ongoing backlash for the upcoming 2026 Star Wars film featuring Daisy Ridley by delivering the following. As a director, this is the very problem that I think is our biggest challenge in this industry, where women are more often than not unsupported in many projects that are led by so many talented creators, and I am appalled by how fans of this franchise have become so misguided. Star Wars is about evolution, both in the story and in reality, and our push for films to be created and guided by women is something I congratulate Lucasfilm for making that all possible. Of course, we are going to be dealing with fans and followers that don't support our vision, and that's to be expected from those who are unwilling to adapt to modern times, but it's nothing more than a minority, and this is why you can't take any sort of pushback seriously when it involves fandoms. I firmly believe fandom culture is too toxic nowadays, and from a specific demographic, mind that needs to be corrected. What Disney and what Lucasfilm have done with this fictional world is slow, but much needed process, and I mean, you have seen what's coming with The Acolyte. How can nobody love that? I am deeply thrilled to see what they have in store with that story. I absolutely needed this. We absolutely needed this to course correct in the film industry, especially with a space opera like this that has aliens and everything. So why not create something led by women? I think it's a great move by Kathy and how she is shooting for the stars. She gave me this opportunity, and I am going to make sure I own it and deliver one of the most groundbreaking stories that will continue where we left off in 2019. This will be one of our first few steps that we will be establishing and changing to fandom culture, which I believe really needs some serious work to better fit our audience and to attract the correct moviegoers to see these films. I am having a blast talking things over with Daisy, and it's just killing her to keep this story for the film a secret inside. We are truly evolving Star Wars into something new for newcomers, while also giving loyal fans an alternate view on how this fictional world can work in a story that all began with George Lucas. Now guys, let me just say one thing before I get to the big conclusion about this. Now, once again, Sharmeen is pointing the finger at blaming fandom culture as becoming too toxic in modern times. She's also pointing the finger at the fact that there are a lot of people that want nothing to do with these ideologies being spilled out by Disney, as well as all of these agendas being spilled out by Lucasfilm / Kathleen Kennedy. She is acknowledging that there are a lot of people in this fandom, in this community, that being Star Wars, that really want nothing to do with it anymore, and don't trust anything that Kathleen Kennedy is involved with. And this is a for sure thing at this point. So when you have stuff like this, everything related to Kathleen Kennedy, Charmine, Stephen Knight, anything that is connected to the sequel trilogy is going to be universally rejected right off the bat. And like I said earlier in this video, it's not a coincidence why they announced the Mandalorian and Grogu Star Wars film just a week and a half after all this Rey movie drama. We talked about how behind the scenes, Lucasfilm had a specific announcement plan that was all strategically based to see exactly which one gets the best reception, and obviously they saw that the Rey movie did not perform well as far as reception goes. A lot of fans just want nothing to do with this, especially a movie focused on a character that isn't so universally accepted like Luke Skywalker is, right? So moving onwards, this is where things begin to get a little bit more intense, because we know that Charmine is one that really said nothing about the Star Wars film in 2026, except for the fact that it is about time that something is done by a woman at this point in time in a galaxy far, far away. Not a big shocker there. She goes on to conclude, "I just have to thank Stephen Knight for not only guiding me, but also giving me the chance to guide him as well on where the story should go, and a brilliant move to divert from the Skywalker legacy and to embrace something completely new. I am honored to get this chance to turn Star Wars into a transformative experience for fans. It's something that has been long overdue." So, something that has been long overdue in her mind is by diverting from the Skywalker legacy, by ridding anyone connected to that bloodline. And this is all connected, by the way, to how Adam Driver confirmed that he is not involved in any future Star Wars projects, be it movies or television. He actually went right on the record that there is no projects on the line for him. Now, of course, he could be very secretive about that, and there's really nothing happening behind the scenes involving Adam Driver. It's all radio silent. There's nothing going on with the return of Ben Solo in that light by Adam himself. And what's interesting about this too is exactly how Kathleen Kennedy is doubling down on all of her agendas. Everything related to, you know, all of her ideology that she's pretty much lined up with Bob Iger about. And it's interesting how Adam Driver, another actor, by the way, who talked against Star Wars, that it was never the idea to turn Kylo Ren to the light side. It was always about keeping him in the dark, and how the end of the last movie would have him reach his peak at the dark side of the Force. And he wasn't really all that supportive over the big change. So again, you know, we have a lot of things to talk about with this new Jedi Order film, also known as the Rey movie. A lot of people have different names for it. Some people should just call it the Rey Palpatine movie at this point in time, because let's face it, that's who she really is by blood. She is not a Skywalker, she never will be a Skywalker, and it's really a disgrace that Charmine has said this before in the past, that she is going to use that by name in upcoming projects by, of course, Rey Skywalker. Even Daisy Ridley commented that there's a possibility that this could all turn into a trilogy. So I would like to hear what you guys have to say about this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.